Que le dé cumbia a la gente.
There you go. There you go. Of course, our host,
I
our,
don't.
our host
Our
goes
host is
dead.
gone for now,
Yeah,
but
that's good.
welcome everybody to a brand new Strictly Football episode. Um, I'm back. My brother is back. We are missing Sam, but hope he's doing good wherever he is. Hope you're doing good wherever you are, and tuning in into our show. How are you doing, Adin?
Me, I am doing pretty good. I have a lot of work to do to catch up. Uh, on my job, it's kind of like a busy season for me. So a little stressed out about that. But other than that, I'm looking forward to when it's done.
That's
Yeah,
great, man. That's
yeah.
great. Hey,
What about yourself?
as long as there's work, it's all good.
Is it good?
I mean, it's blessed, maybe, sorta, kind
Maybe. I don't know.
of. Me, I'm doing great. I'm excited to be back. I had a great vacation out in Europe. For those who don't know, me and my brother were on vacation, and one of the destinations were Goodison Park. And man, the vibes at that stadium, especially being an Everton fan, was great. And but yeah, I'm excited to be back. It's the end of the semester for me at school, so doing great. Ready to talk about football. A lot to talk about. So,
Nice.
and our host, my brother,
Hey,
how are
sorry,
you
sorry,
doing?
sorry. Am I in again?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, man.
How
I
are you doing?
apologize for that, man. I was trying to like do the beat of the drums to the song, and I unplugged everything. So my bad.
Nice.
Yeah,
There you
this
go.
is my it all backfired, man. But you know what? It feels good to be back. Got some new headphones on. So yeah, no, the trip was actually really fun, and we got to see one Premier League game. And see, we're sporting it. I think we gave Everton good luck because they just beat Liverpool yesterday, and I mean if the game that we went to was crazy, even though they were playing Burnley, can't imagine how the atmosphere would have been yesterday against Liverpool, especially that they won. So that I mean, but yeah, man, feels good to be back. It feels good to check in and ready to talk again about football.
Hmm.
But what about you, man? I feel like we took a vacation. What about you, man?
We
What
went. We
you've
we
been up
ran
to?
through this already.
Oh, we did. Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Tarjeta
but
roja.
you weren't
Tarjeta
here.
roja.
I'm cool. We can jump into tarjeta roja of the week.
Hey, man, let's move along, man. I'll recap tomorrow in the morning and see what
See
you
how I'm
had.
doing.
Yeah, see how you're doing.
Yeah.
All right, man. Sorry. All right, let's move along. Tarjeta roja of the week. Or the weeks, I guess, if we want to encapsulate last week as well. Who wants to go first? Who wants to take the first jab? I feel like there's a few we can think of. If not, I can go ahead and go.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys want to jump in?
um,
I have two on my mind, but go ahead.
I mean,
yeah, I can go. I can go. I think my tarjeta roja is going to Liverpool. Just for losing against Everton at Goodison Park. I know Goodison Park is a tough pitch to play at, but I think Liverpool, yeah, their chances of winning the title is done, and it in a sense it's kind of sad because Klopp is going out just winning the Carabao Cup,
Uh
and
huh.
he's leaving it really empty-handed. How much of that was plagued by injuries, is something up for debate. But yeah, I mean, very very tough loss for them yesterday, or was it yesterday? No, the day before,
yeah, it
right?
was.
Or was it yesterday?
No, it was yesterday.
Yesterday, right? Yeah, so very tough loss for them yesterday, and yeah, there goes their title chances. Now it's just left to Man City and Arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, props to him though. I mean, that team was they have a lot of injuries, and
Yeah,
don't have like they don't even have Salah in form right now. So props to them for them to go this far, to go to push the Premier League race to the point that they are at. I mean, I mean that's that's still my guy. Um, yeah. You want me to go, Jose? You want to go?
I can just go. I don't know what yours would be in, but mine's I'll stick in the Premier League. I'll give it to Chelsea.
Okay.
as a team. Um, it's just again, we've talked about this before, but just seeing them play, seeing what they've done, it's just another example that money does not buy titles, and money does not buy chemistry. Um, and if I could, the two players that they've been marginalizing the whole season, it's like Moises Caicedo and Enzo Alvarez. Like, I think they had a rating of like 5.4 in this past game against Arsenal.
Uh huh.
Um, and again, that's $240 million on two players. That just part of the problem. But I think, yeah, if Chelsea wants to compete, they'll have to get it together because it's not looking good for them. And I don't believe they'll make any European Cups next season either.
No, no, but it's probably
Yeah.
for the best, though. If I'm being honest with
Yeah.
you, I mean, if
I mean,
Pochettino's to stay, I think it's better for them
th-
to have kind of like a clean slate.
there's a couple bright spots on that team though.
Yeah,
Um,
Cole Palmer.
Cole
That's about. I think
Palmer,
that's about it, right?
and Conor Gallagher has been having a great end of the season. Enzo
The
Fernandez is
races.
playing okay. uh, there's a couple bright spots there. It's a young team, but
It gets
they do suck.
outshined.
They do
It
suck.
gets outshined by lack of chemistry and Pochettino not. I mean, just look at what happened on the game against Everton with the penalty and like
That's funny.
fighting over who's going to take a penalty.
Yeah,
It was,
Five
yeah,
5-0 up.
yeah,
immaturity, man. But
yeah. I know
yeah,
they're falling apart at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Um, but a part of it is good though because there's at least some sort of like friction as opposed. There's at least some sort of like emotion because it just feels like for the last 2 years, like it just they just seem kind of like emotionless. If that makes any sense.
Hmm.
Like no one looks pissed, no one looks fucking hungry, nobody looks like they want to fucking be there. So yeah, my tarjeta roja of the week goes to Anthony. Uh, Once again, he's been on this. He's a multiple offender. Multiple offender.
In every single way.
Yeah. I mean, he. I don't know if you all saw what he did after the penalty was taken and they won, and then he went to the Coventry team and he cussed like his ears, and I'm like, dude, just get off the field, dude. And like even like their whole celebration, like nobody was behind my boy. Like after he scored, like they just like
Nobody
left
was
him
really
there.
celebrating other than him.
Yeah, he was the only one celebrating, and but Anthony, I think, is the biggest perpetrator here because he really thought he was doing something right there. My tarjeta roja of the week goes to that guy. I was reading somewhere that like that they're thinking of making him like a left back or something like that. Which I at this point I'm like, you might as well. You're not getting any really offense out of him, so might as well put him back there.
fuck, dude. Cafucas Vasquez 2.0.
Cafucas, man, and I mean that's another tarjeta roja that I would have had is the La Liga in their goal line technology or lack thereof.
Sheesh.
Yeah,
Or yeah, Barcelona president coming out and the tears
the tears,
saying
man.
that the game is gonna get like the go to the full stretch to make sure the game gets replayed again.
I mean, even Barcelona could get the tarjeta roja of the week because this week has just been a roller coaster with having Xavi come back.
Hey, they got a
Um,
coach though. They got a coach.
yeah, I mean, do you think that like I feel like he just did that shit on purpose to like just get them motivated. At this
Maybe. Hey,
point,
that'd be pretty cool. I wouldn't be surprised if that came
conspiracy
out.
theory hat is on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
no, it's like
surprised.
they look at what was available and saw Rafa Marquez and said, "Nah, dog, we need you to
They
stay.
don't want to see my boy win, dude. They don't want to
Like
see my guy take the reins.
we need you to stay." Like, well, because the thing, it's like not next year, but I mean, now we're getting a little too ahead, but the following year, I think it's when a lot of like top tier coaches are out of contract, and it's like 2025. So maybe they're looking into that in case Xavi doesn't progress, but we'll see. We'll see
That's still my
what goes
guy,
on.
man. I still wish him well in his endeavors. Uh,
Um,
yeah.
but all right, boys. Let's move on. Let's move on to our headline. Talk about the Champions League recap. What you guys thought about all the quarterfinals? Uh, I think there's a saying that, or there's a saying in Spain that they say that Dios es madridista. so so
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll start with
it
that
seems like
because
it.
yeah.
that's the only thing that can maybe justify what we got to see, and see Real Madrid somehow find the means to pull through. But I'll open the floor to you guys. What did you guys like? What was the surprise? What's your highlights from the second leg?
Yeah. I mean, it's so like, look, I'll do this as a disclaimer. Don't listen to us. Don't put any bets on anything that we say because we were wrong. Sam and I were wrong about everything that that we said about who was gonna go through. And now my Real Madrid take has not aged well. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, that second game, the Real Madrid Man City game, wasn't as exciting as his first game, and we saw the resurgence of Cafucas Vasquez, right? Coming back clutch and doing his thing.
Clutch.
And I mean, yeah, I mean, I think Real Madrid is. I don't particularly find them that exciting this year and for the last couple of years, but they pulled something off that I don't think anybody really saw. And I think it also kind of is an indictment on the Premier League because the Premier League kind of has like their head up in their ass, like about like they're the best league and blah 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 blah, and no British teams are through. You know what I'm saying? So like it's it's also like, they hold themselves up so high, and they're not doing it at that level. So there's also that. And I mean, if I go to my team, Arsenal, it was a letdown for me as I watched my team throw it away. Um, Especially with that goal. I mean, the goal was just not. It, they were pressing, but it was just a mistake from the winger not coming back. So yeah, those some initial thoughts for me.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I mean, I honestly look, I'm a Madrid fan. Um, but I just don't know how they pulled this off. Like, it's just insane to me. I mean, I think no one was like, other than Madrid fans, no one was counting on them to pass. No one was counting on them to beat Man City, although it was a great first leg. And I mean, to be honest, like, Madrid wasn't even the best team on the pitch the whole game. Man City was just, if you look at the possession, I think Madrid had like 34 possession or something like that, 35 possession. Like, it was insane the disparity, but Madrid still managed to pull it off. They scored first too. And the only reason why Man City scored, it was just a kind of lucky rebound from Rudiger. And yeah, and De Bruyne was just happened to be there. But yeah, so I mean, great, crazy penalty shootout as well. Some kind of weird penalty takers for Madrid, but they got it done. I think the person I expected to score the penalty was missed it in Modric, but yeah, I mean, great for Madrid, and now they got another tough task ahead of them in Bayern. It seems like they're playing okay. They're playing all right, apart from not being champions in Germany. So yeah, and for Arsenal, yeah, I think for me, like, deep down I wanted Arsenal to go through just because I feel like they're a great team, and I know that they can be the great team and they have great players, but yeah, I think their lack of like being there and being in that moment is what kind of got to them, I think. And it's not easy to play in the Allianz Arena. I think Bayern fans are cheered the team on, and yeah, I think it's just lack of experience for Arsenal, but they'll be back. I'm pretty sure they'll be
I
back.
mean, I've been said this, dude. They just lack a killer, man. They don't have a killer up there. And that's
Yeah.
the problem that Arsenal has, and that's the way. And but then again, I also feel like Arteta is so hard headed that even if he had a killer, he would still bench him to like put in fucking like
Kai Havertz.
Kai Havertz at center forward. And he's had a cool season, but he's not a killer. You know what I'm saying? Like he's
Yeah.
not one that's gonna fucking step on the team's throat to just fucking kill him off because they had some chances and
Yeah.
they just couldn't capitalize them.
Yeah, and for the Barca game, I think it's just Barca se desinfló, to be honest.
Robbed,
Uh yeah, uh, no, I wouldn't
robbed,
say robbed. They
robbed.
they got outbested by the best player in the world and his team. That's just the truth. And then again, you
You
can
talking
also
about
say like
Mbappe or Dembele?
Mbappe, Mbappe.
Okay.
Although Dembele had played great that second leg, and yeah, I think again another just kind of lack of experience. They had a lot of young people in there. They're very injury plagued right now, so yeah. I mean, I didn't think they were gonna go through, even though I mean that maybe just being a anti Barca fan, but yeah. And then in the Atletico game, I think Atletico just got beat because they just don't attack. El Cholo doesn't attack. he just he just lets the game happen. Uh, the other team do it for him. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they fucked up by letting them score in that first game.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was their big problem. They let them
yeah.
score, and
And Borussia
that
Dortmund
just
looked great in that second leg. They looked great.
mhm,
So
mhm.
hey, they might shock and go through to the final. You don't. We never know. But yeah, that's my takes right there. A la Madrid. That's right in our comments. A
And
la
I
Madrid.
comments out on Madrid. Boy, yeah. I mean,
I mean, well, first, I mean, just a side takeaway, and I know that we talked about. I mean, you guys talked about the first leg of the Champions League when we were out, but
that's right.
I mean, being out there during a Champions League like day is a whole different thing. Like there's it's such a different vibe. Like watching the game actually at night, as opposed to watching the game while on my lunch break. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I mean we were back by the second leg, and I mean you had me clinching on my desk chair watching the PK shootout between City um, and Madrid. But I mean we may call him Cafucas Vasquez, man, but I'm just saying he went in and he put Doku on check, dude. Because Doku had Carvajal on skates the whole game. Well, not the whole game, but ever since he went in, Carvajal couldn't see anything, dude. And once Lucas Vasquez came in, I mean, he just came and he's like, he put him on lockdown. Like, he did not see Doku for the rest of the game once Lucas Vasquez came in. Just gonna throw it out there. Um,
I mean, that's just crazy though. That Real Madrid has those are the two right backs on the team, dog.
yeah, and it's like,
Cafucas and fucking Carvajal. That Carvajal looks like he's gassed out after the first half.
so I mean that's the thing. I feel like, and it's like that's like the or like that's the Madrid DNA, or that's like the like every Champions League that we get to see, we get to this stage in the cup. Like like if you're a Madrid fan, you're tuning in to watch Madrid play and see them pull this type of comeback, see them pull like this miracle, or like pull the rabbit out of the hat, you know. And if you're against the Madrid, like you're over here like wanting to see them lose, wanting to like rub it in the face and like y'all thought you were all that. And it's like when you go back to like just see anything, like I think like Real Madrid is built for Champions League. Like they love the drama. They live like they feed off the drama, dude. And I don't think there'll be any, like you can put any other team in that position, it's not gonna hit the same. Like you won't be tuned in to either criticize, support, or cheer on a team like Madrid. No matter like what year we're talking about, we can be talking about this in 5 years, and we'll be maybe in the same thing. We're talking about the Madrid DNA, the Madrid ideology that like just never like you can have 10% possession the whole game and still manage a way to win it. So it's like that. I feel like it's just Madrid and Champions League are a love story that we can tell from here to generations forward. Um, and from the Bayern and Arsenal game, I don't know if you guys saw the last play of that game. Um, it,
Don't remind me of that, dude. Don't even remind me of that. That's our best player, dude, doing that. Crazy. Crazy.
that's my that's the whole takeaway of that, of like how Arsenal that just second leg
Como que le faltó
down
leche, dude. Like he needs to fucking go drink some like leche de toro or something.
down on the score, corner kick, your goalie went up to take the header, and yeah, you're not even gonna make it to the first post. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Desinflado de un solo. I mean, our star player didn't show up, unfortunately, and that corner I think really said something. about it as
That,
well.
that I mean that told the whole story of how that second game went, and it's like I mean, going back to the first leg, like man, if they would have taken that win on the first game, like hubiera sido otra historia on the second
Yeah.
leg. Because I feel like I think it was Jamie Carragher that said it, that in that leg, Arsenal wasn't the worst team, and I
Yeah.
agree. I think Arsenal played better, but go back into the killer story. There's no nine that's gonna put it away, and
That's
it's
right.
like Arteta is that coach que se va a morir with his ideology,
That's
and
right.
it's like you're gonna like you'll see that game against Bayern and be like, yo, well, the scheme didn't work, and then you'll see them win 5-0 against Chelsea, and then he'll be like, you see, that's the same scheme, and
It
we got
works.
yeah, it worked. So it's like he'll have the backup to tell you that his scheme does work, even though on the big games, or like as heading towards the end of the season, it has not, or like it's failed them in the most important times.
Yeah, I mean, I hella feel that because I think that you're summing it up right on the fucking head with Arteta, and I think that's the thing that drives me insane about him, is that like I think he's a cool coach, but I think he's trying to be so much like Pep without having the accolades and without having the achievement as Pep to lie on his sword. He doesn't. He has a really hard time adapting to what's in front of him. And when you don't have a Doku on the bench, when you don't have a Juliana Alvarez on the bench, and you have Nketi on the bench, and you have fucking uh Trussard, that's my guy. But like when you have these players that are not at the star level that you need in order for a big change in your adaptation, it you fall. And we saw the crumbleness of Arsenal this season in a span of a week where he refused to change his tactics. He refused to change what wasn't working, and the season's gone just like that. The league and the Champions League are gone, and we can hold our head up high because they just beat Chelsea 5-0. But I mean, is that really a big accolade? But no, I hella feel what you just said about that because he is Mister Philosophy, and I must die with my philosophy.
Like he thinks. I mean, he feels like he's a Mo already, like implementing of school of ideology for the next coaches.
Yeah.
You got to die with this one.
And my thing is like he doesn't. My thing is like I feel like he still hasn't really proven that he can handle a killer like a star like on the team, because all these players on Arsenal, like they're all like relatively young. You know what I'm saying? And like throw in an Mbappe in there, I don't know if he would be able to handle somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? And like to keep them happy and keep them like at a level that can elevate the team, because he's so fucking stuck in his ways that he doesn't know how to switch that shit off. So yeah,
Harsh,
appreciate that.
but harsh, but I feel like you
No, I mean
needed that.
that's just the realness. I think, like as an Arsenal fan, it's cool. Like he's made Arsenal relevant again, uh, which I think is dope. And like he deserves some critiques now because this is his third season and we haven't won anything other than the
Yeah,
FA Cup, and there hasn't been any. We've gotten close, which is cool, but like it's not enough. You know what I'm saying? Like what he's doing is not enough, and that also deserves some critiques. And I think I think a majority of it falls on him because they're trusting him to guide the ship, and he's guiding us into a casi casi.
yeah. Like el ya merito. Like it'll be a ya merito every season because
Yeah.
that's where they are. But I feel like again, I feel like there may be this. There might just be this from taking that next big step.
Yeah.
Are they gonna do it under Arteta? I don't know, but I mean now I mean I see the change where we'll get it like
Well,
we
we're already
just
talking
we
about it.
yeah
I
we
figure
we
we're already
quickly
Yeah.
I feel we're already
transitioned
It's
here.
into
okay.
it.
Yeah.
We're talking about Arsenal bottling. I mean, it kind of ties in because I feel like Arsenal lost everything in the span of maybe a week.
A week.
The Aston Villa loss, and then going and no morale, losing Champions League, and then just ultimately just almost. I mean, they're still in the race. They're just it doesn't depend on them, and they do have the hardest schedule compared to Man City. Um, but I mean, what do you have to say about Arsenal, Irving? You were out there.
I
You saw
mean,
London, London.
I mean, before the Aston Villa loss, for those that don't know, Arsenal just had to win the rest of their games and they were champions. Now, that was still going to be a tough task because again, they were playing Aston Villa. And Aston Villa has actually been playing amazing this season, and they might play Champions League this year. Barcelona still had to play Tottenham,
They did,
Manchester
man.
United,
Hmm.
and Everton. I had to include it in there. But yeah, so Arsenal still had a tough schedule ahead of them. So it was definitely a tough ways to go. But yeah, I mean they lost everything in like a week. Yeah, they it sucks because at the beginning of the season, I remember I predicted Arsenal was going to win the champion, not the Champions League, the Premier League, and I thought Arsenal had enough to get it done. Again, y'all hated on the Declan Rice signing. I love Declan Rice for Arsenal. He's been great this season. Yeah, but the lack of having someone up top with Martinelli and Saka is definitely been kind of like crucial to Arsenal. You know, if you look at and again we're comparing them to Man City because they're probably going to end up champions. But if you look at Man City, I mean they have arguably the best striker in the world, in Erling Haaland. So and they have just all around players. So
Uh oh. Uh oh. Striker,
striker.
man. Striker. Who do you think is best? What's up with that reaction?
Unless you consider Mbappe a striker, but he's kind of more of a wing guy. But I guess, you know. But anyways, he's the best goal scorer, best nine you could get, I think, right
And
now.
remind me, Luis Enrique played Mbappe in the middle, right? Again, in that second tie.
Hmm.
No, no, he had him on the left.
He had him in the
He did.
left.
Yeah, yeah, he
Let
had
me
him on
see.
the because
Did he play in the middle at all during the two ties?
oh he may have because he had the young
So
kid on
yeah,
the
he
left.
played
Yeah, because he
he played
had
in the middle.
Dembele and
Mbappe
he had
played as striker.
the dude with the braids.
Yeah, the guy that expulsó a Araujo.
Bascola, I think his name is.
Barcola.
Barcola, there you
Yeah.
go. Barcola. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
Mbappe
yeah, he
played
played in the
striker.
middle then, yeah.
Yeah, so you can consider him being the best striker in the world, but you know, Haaland is number two, I think, in my opinion. But anyways, yeah. So Arsenal, very very tough. They have to have Man City lose, and their Man City schedule is piece of
It's
cake
over,
for them.
man. The
Yeah,
only hope that they had of losing was today, and they fucking smoked the shit out of Brighton today, five
yeah,
zero, 4-0.
yeah.
So we
So
can kiss
yeah,
this. We can kiss this Premier League gone.
you heard it here
Goodbye.
first. Uh, yeah, Man City champions, and I mean, I think it's at the end of the day, as much as I said Arsenal was going to win the title, I think we can all agree that Man City is arguably, or not, they're the best team in England and arguably one of the best teams in the world now. Um, so yeah, I mean, you can't Arsenal can't like really like hate on themselves just for losing to a team like Man City, a generational team, I'd argue. So
But we do.
of
See, but
course, of course, of course.
you were going back to the Yamerito, dude. Like this, like you're getting satisfied for being second, and I don't think that's that.
It's
I feel
it's
like
it's
that
not satisfaction. It's just like they knew they had it and they knew all they had to do was win. It was just a tough schedule. They lost. Now they have to rely on Man City, another team beating Man City, and that's tough in and of itself. So
What can I ask y'all something? If Arsenal next season doesn't win anything, should Arteta be gone?
yes. Well,
mm,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you should because I do believe they'll open the chequera for him to go and get the player that he wants or get a player that he wants, and he still won't get the nine. He'll get
He's still,
somebody else.
he's still looking at a left back, dog. The report so he's looking at a left back. I'm like, dog, what are you doing?
Exactly.
yeah, I
What,
Like,
mean,
what
yeah,
are we talking about here? That's not the problem.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but yeah, I think it's there's he's definitely gonna be put under like the we might fire you position, and you're close to being fired. Yeah, it all depends on this summer and see any summer signings and how they go. But yeah, I think Arteta might be out after next season if he doesn't win anything, just because of how close he came this season. That I'm sure the board expects him to come out and try to win something next season. Because yeah, they're empty-handed.
They need to
So
win something. They need to win a fucking Carabao Cup. I don't care. Give me
something.
something,
FA
man. Give
Cup,
me a FA
FA
Cup. Give
Cup.
me
Yeah,
fucking something, man. The
something.
Shield doesn't count
Yeah. So,
Wait, is that's the one they beat City, right, at the start of the season?
at the start of
yeah.
the
Yeah.
season. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Um,
but yeah,
All right. Should we jump
Arsenal
into?
awesome.
Do we want to talk about Leverkusen, or we want to go to the next thing?
I mean, if we could add with Leverkusen, I mean, Xavi's resigning. That happened.
Yeah, that's
Um,
interesting. For those who
I
thought he
think
was
that
going to
yeah, for those
Liverpool.
who thought he was going to Liverpool, for those that I mean, he was linked to Liverpool, he was linked to Bayern. Ultimately, he chose to stay, and I think his core of players is also staying, or like they're still in contract for next season. So unless they don't come snatching those players away, like I think Leverkusen's still going to compete next year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and if Sam was here, I'd tell him to play the applause sound. But I mean, my 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 applause to Leverkusen. I don't know how they do it, but they just find a way to keep that unbeaten streak alive. It's like the 90th minute, and they're down like 2-0, and all of a sudden at the end of the game, it's 2-2. Um, so yeah, just yeah, props to Leverkusen. Uh, yeah, they're playing great. They're probably gonna win the Europa League, and they'll be other than the fact that they already won the title, they're gonna be in Champions League just by winning the Europa League. Yeah, props to Leverkusen. Props to Xabi Alonso too as well. Just a great team he's building. I think to me the highlight of that team is Florian Wirtz. I think he's starting to become a star. He's starting to play well, and he's becoming that core of the team, that midfield core, that 10 that other teams would want. And he's a
Oh,
great player.
that kid's a beast, dude. That kid's
Yeah,
hella good.
yeah,
If you haven't
he's a
seen
good
that
player.
kid play, I suggest you go see that kid play.
Check
Because
him out.
I don't really keep up with the Bundesliga, but I have seen this kid play, like, relatively, and he's good before he got injured. And so I know that after he got
Yeah,
injured, he's fucking been
yeah,
taken off.
yeah.
Um, so it's a good shout right there.
and also don't forget the guy that I think right now probably looks up to Xavi Alonso. He didn't win anything in Arsenal, but he went to Bayern one season and won the title. Granit Xhaka. That guy's been the backbone of of
That's
Leverkusen.
crazy. That's crazy, but
It's
it's true.
That
it's
dude
it's
gets
a,
under my skin, dog. He's just like,
throw
what are you
throw.
talking about?
Hey, that was Declan Rice before Declan Rice, and it just didn't work out for him in London. And now he went to Leverkusen, smaller club, but hey, he's the backbone of that midfield. Like
He
he keeps Ritz on check.
he threw the jersey on the floor. He threw the jersey on the floor, man. You can't I cannot go back. The man took the armband off, upset. He took the jersey off. Go look at that clip, and then the whole fucking stadium just fucking started just fucking wailing. They were at the Emirates, and they just started wailing on this man for doing that, disrespecting the badge like that. Should be ashamed of himself. And then he goes on and he's like, "Oh, I left because I wanted to be in the club that didn't boo me or something like that, or where the fans appreciate me." I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up, dude. But look at him now, though. He's fucking
Yeah.
living his best life in the
It's
fucking.
like all I'm saying, butterfly effect. If we think of a moment that's happening now, we can tie it back to Arsenal somehow.
There it
Just
is.
Some
There it
way.
talk
is.
about anything. It's gonna get
Fucking,
tied back to Arsenal, and
I
all
know.
somebody else is gonna have a title at the expense of Arsenal.
Everything leads back to Arsenal, dude. Xabi Alonso come to Arsenal, man. No, I mean, I think the jury's still, at least for me, like the jury's still out on Xabi Alonso. I think he's a great coach for what I can't knock what he's done this season, but I would like to see it happen. Not, I know it's not going to happen again. I am interested to see when they lose, though, how they react. I am looking at that Europa League tie. I'm looking at, I mean, I think in the league, I think they're probably going to be cool, but I'm looking at that Europa League and see how they do. Um, but I am interested to see what happens to him afterwards because I know that the rumors are that he's going to go to Real Madrid, which would be a cool. I think would be a cool fit, but I don't know. Part of me still is like hesitant about whether he's ready for the big boys. Kind of to your point about the drama and whether he wants that.
Yeah,
He
props
might
to
he might
Leverkusen.
might be, yeah. So, but I mean, any other takeaways before we wrap this up? That you guys can take, that you guys saw. Um,
Nope.
No,
yeah.
that's it.
Other
All right,
than
man.
Barca got robbed, but
Twice.
twice, man. They got robbed twice,
Twice,
man. This has been
twice.
the most tumultuous fucking
Week.
week in Barcelona
Yeah.
history in a while.
Hey, well, without, I mean, what we can say? Agree to disagree, but we'll move on.
All right.
We'll move on to our question of the day, our game. He's back. Um, Irving got
I'm
a
back.
little
Shout
Uh,
out
little
to
game
Ariel
for us.
for doing it for doing it last time. Great job.
Yeah, man. Thanks
Keeping
for
it
folks
live.
that are engaging in that conversation about Memo Ochoa. I didn't think that it was gonna be
Yes,
this
yes.
beefy, but yeah,
It
we
was
got a pretty intense conversation happening on
yeah.
Instagram right now about Memo. So if you're really strong opinions about Memo Ochoa, our page is the place to be right now because
Yeah.
people are just throwing haymakers left and right.
At Strictly
you believe
Football
can you
21.
believe somebody said Corona should have been the goalie in
Oh hell
2014?
no!
I'm
Get
like,
the
no,
fuck out of
no,
here,
somebody
dude.
even said that Conejo Perez is more of an
Is
icon than Memo
yeah,
Ochoa. I'm like, "Dawg, what are
crazy.
we talking about?"
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
that
For those listening and don't follow our social medias, go follow them right now. Strictly Football 21, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. But yeah, we have a reel slash TikTok, whatever you want to call it, up right now. It's about Memo Ochoa. Go give your take in the comments. There's some good takes, bad takes. You just heard it right now. So
Yeah,
um,
and I'm here for it, man. I've been the one
yeah,
responding to all of them,
yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm here for the smoke today, man. I'm tired of holding back, and I'm fucking ready to fucking fly.
call
Exactly.
him
So
Ryan Garcia.
if you wanna be involved in a conversation, in a football conversation, go check us out. Comment under another TikTok if you feel so strongly about it. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for interacting. All right.
All right, you ready?
So
Go ahead.
yep, we're ready. Okay. So today we have a game, pretty simple, called underrated, overrated, or properly rated. Now I'm gonna show a couple pictures of people, players on the screen, and you're just gonna tell me underrated, overrated, or properly rated, and just kind of tell me why, just a little bit of why you think he's that rating. So yeah, and those following at home, I'll make sure to let you know what, or at home at through audio, I'll make sure to tell you who the player is. So yeah,
All right, let's see.
okay, it's gonna
Okay, we
come
have a
up.
circle going around and around. So we
I
have right
know
now.
it's
This
gonna come
is
up.
overrated. There he is.
Boom! All right, we got our first player right here. So we got Santi Jimenez. Is he underrated, overrated, or properly rated? What do you guys think?
Properly rated.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think he's properly rated as well. I think he's having a slump right now where he hasn't scored, and I think the last like, do you guys know the stat? He's like, I think he's only scored like 3 goals in the last like 11 games or some shit like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They were just champions. No, but he's definitely properly rated. Am I gonna say that I'm expecting him to fucking do some Ronaldinho tricks and shit like that? No, but I think he has the like. If you look at his goals, like he has proper position. I think I think he's gonna be. I hope he doesn't become a Carlos Vela where he's gonna be at odds with the Mexican national team. But that's kind of what it's looking like right now. So I think it's
Yeah.
perfectly rated or properly rated.
Yeah. Properly rated. I feel like properly rated. Too young or too early to call. Um, whether he is overrated or underrated with La Selección. Um, and yeah, he still has plenty of years ahead to have this discussion again about him.
Yeah, let us know in the chat too what you think. Santi
Yeah, here in
Jimenez.
the chat. So yeah, to me, I think again, yeah, he's properly rated. Just because I think at the beginning of the season, a lot of people, well, statistically, he was like a top five striker in Europe, but he is having a slump right now. But yeah, at club level, I think he's properly rated. He's a great striker. He's the best player Mexico has right now. I'd argue maybe Edson Alvarez, but um,
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
that's
that's what I'm
too
saying.
that's too
I'd
far. That's too
argue. I'd
far. Reel it
argue.
back in. Reel it
Yeah,
back in.
as I
Reel
said,
it back in.
I'd argue, but yeah, Santi Jimenez, best Mexican player right now, and he's a great striker, and yeah, he's scoring a lot of goals with, which is what he does, what a striker does. So, yeah, next player.
Uh-oh.
We
Uh-oh.
got
Uh-oh.
Saka.
Uh-oh.
Is he properly rated? Oh, is he underrated, overrated, or properly rated? Again, I know he's young, but I mean, it's just we're taking on it right now, right? Is he? What do you think of him right now? So go ahead.
Overrated. Overrated.
That's
Hey,
crazy.
his Nando's hot sauce is better than his play style. Just gonna leave it out there. Shout out Nando's. I mean, I'd get up on my chair and do my little soccer limp after a bad game. Um, but yeah, no, overrated.
That's crazy. Ariel, Arsenal fan. Get
Arsenal
that out
fan.
there.
Well, look, dude, I gotta say, I watch a lot of Arsenal like TV and like Arsenal like fan channels. So I'm also in the delusion land of Arsenal. But I gotta say, I feel like he is underrated. Underrated in the sense that he plays hella games, overworked really, because Arteta hasn't really found a replacement. Well, not a replacement, but like a backup to him. So he plays almost, he plays a lot in Arsenal. And I think he's one of the more consistent players that Arsenal has. And not only does he do it for Arsenal, but he also does it for England. And I think that to me, and if anything, I think he really shines in England, because of the way Southgate plays. So I think that there is an underrated aspect of him. Now, they always put him in conversation with Foden and all this other stuff. I don't know if he's better. I don't think he's better than Foden, but I do think that there isn't like an underratedness about him because he's not flashy. He's not like the trickster winger. He's kind of like he doesn't even really cross. Like he kind of just cuts in all the time. So he's not really that flashy. He's just kind of like he just works hard and gets into those positions. But and I hear it though. He limps off
Only when they
uh,
lose.
only
to
when they
me,
lose.
uh, I am definitely thinking more on the underrated side. I like him as a winger. I think he's a great winger. He's having one of his better seasons this year. I mean, he's only 21, um, and he's already kind of shining in a big club in England and for his country as well. I mean, he's yeah, like you said, Ariel, he's not the type of winger that's gonna cross you the ball and he's gonna, do all that kind of. He's more the one that is actually gonna attack the defense. He cuts in. He's gonna shoot. So he's technically kind of the nine for them, if in a sense, kind of a false nine, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, to me, Saka is a great player. Um, and hot take here, but I would put him in a conversation with against Phil Foden they're not that he might be better, but they're definitely on the same level in my opinion, or they're on the level. It's
What?
just I think
Okay,
I
okay,
I think
yeah,
I
reel it
think
back,
I think
reel it
they just
back.
do two different things, and the thing about Foden is that he just doesn't play on the wing. He can play down the middle as well. And yeah, I mean, I'd put it in a conversation. I'm not saying it's true, but I'd put it up for debate because I do think they're great. And I mean, that's something great for England. Again, that's why I think they're taking it home in the Euros. But that's another conversation. They got great young talent in England. Saka's one of them. So.
That conversation has just two words in it, dude. Hell no. and, and
Foden is above. He's
yeah,
above. He's above Saka. I am an Arsenal fan, but nah, Foden is different, man. Foden is ready for like Real Madrid. Saka Saka is not.
All right. Let us know what you guys think. Is Foden better than Saka? Is Saka better than Foden? All right. Next player. We got Rodrigo,
oof.
the man. Is he underrated, overrated, or properly rated?
I think he's properly rated. He's proven to be a man in big moments, but he's also in big moments have fallen out of the lights. So he's there. Es cumplidor el muchacho. Leave it at that.
Okay. I think Rodrigo is overrated. I know that he had these big these moments right now in this latest Champions League, but am I gonna say that he's the star or like like the big when I think about Real Madrid, I think about Rodrigo, and maybe that's unfair to say about him, but I just don't. I think I I don't see him as the big star. I actually see him as a backup if they were to actually get like a bigger star. And I think he would be like a great super sub. But he's also like, I can't say that he's not good. I think he's really good at what he does, and you know, but I to me, I think that there's like an overrated part, and I'm gonna tie it back to national team because even with Brazil, I feel like he doesn't show up there, and there we know who the star is, which is Ney. So he doesn't show up for Brazil. He's never there, and and I would even say now he's second fiddle to Vinicius. So I will say he's overrated. I think Real Madrid fans overrate him. That's not to say that he's not good, but to me, when I think about overrated, I think he's like, is he the star that Real Madrid's known for? I just don't think that's the case.
All right. To me, he's a little underrated, a little properly rated. I think people are starting to recognize a little bit that he's playing great just because he's had a great season. This is probably his best season yet, and yeah, I just think that he hasn't had the best seasons up until now. But it's crazy that Madrid is playing without a striker this year, and Rodrigo's the one getting goals for them, Bellingham, Vinicius, and he is second fiddle to both of them. But I still think he's great in the attack. He's a great winger. He can play you striker if he needs to. Um, so yeah, but I think he's starting to get properly rated just because he's getting to that, like, people are recognizing that he's playing well. So because he
Mark
has
my
been playing
words,
well.
we're gonna
He has
see
been
the
playing well.
replay of Robinho here. I guarantee you, he's gonna want to be the star, and you're gonna put him in a Liverpool, in a team, in a Manchester United. They're gonna pay him the big bucks, and he's not gonna do shit. Mark my words right now. Watch, he's not gonna
So
like it. And when Mbappe goes there, he's not gonna like it at all. He's already third fiddle. He's gonna go fourth fiddle. He's gonna be like, I want to get out of here. I want to get paid big bucks because I'm overrated. And I guarantee you that he's gonna go to fucking somewhere in the Premier League and he's gonna eat shit just like Robinho did.
drops the mic and just leaves. Oh, I guess it's just me right now. It's like y'all left me talking about myself, man.
Sorry, man. I had to get my thought. I had to get
No,
my thought out.
My
it's
bad
all good. I
too.
was
I
like,
had to
wait,
put my
it's like
computer to
we're
charge.
Irving. I was like, what?
I had to put my computer to charge.
Mm.
Yeah. So you heard it here. Hey, apparently he's the next Robinho. We'll see in a
Nomás que
year's
no acabe
time.
en la, nomás que no acabe en la cárcel, bro, porque ahí sí. Ya,
That's
nomás
true.
que
That's
llega
true. That's true. That's true. I hope that doesn't happen at all. I
doesn't
hope.
go
I
doesn't
hope.
go
Yeah.
that far.
No, he
Like,
seems like a cool dude, but no, yeah, you're gonna see yeah, Casemiro style.
oh,
All
esta
right.
rata.
So we have Bruno Fernandes. Apparently that's how you pronounce it. But para los que no hablan portugués, Bruno Fernandes. Is he properly rated, overrated, or underrated? What do you guys think? I have a strong take on this, but not strong,
Overrated.
but okay. Yeah, I knew it wasn't strong.
Overrated, and the fact that you got the picture with him wearing the captain armband for Manchester United.
Uh,
Because he is the
Jesus.
captain.
Well, no, I know he's the captain, but it's like Jesus. Like, how bad is Man U to give the captain armband to a guy that is not a leader and talks behind people's back with Cancelo about Ronaldo and the older heads in a national team?
Conspiracy
Overrated,
hat
man.
is out.
Yeah, no, overrated. He's the one. Him and Fernando Santos bench Ronaldo in the World Cup, but I'll get that. I won't even get into that Pandora box. But overrated. His stats will tell you that he's a good player, but when you put those stats into actual games, those stats don't mean points in favor of a team, let alone the leader. So overrated.
I'm right there with you, man. Overrated. It's probably one of I would say he's probably one of the more disliked players of this era for me because of how much like people applaud him and people like give him props because he works hard. And the reality of it is he's the captain at the core of one of the worst Manchester United teams that we've ever seen. And his leadership, quote unquote leadership, isn't getting across, and people love to just like give him a fucking pass. And if you see him, he's always fucking whining, always asking the ref to do this shit. And I don't know about the Ronaldo stuff. You sound pretty sure about it. I'm not in there, but he yeah, to me one of the most overrated players in the world to me.
Wow. Well, I don't have a different take. My take is that he's overrated as well. Yeah, I think although like you said with Rodrigo, I think at its core he's a great player and there's a reason why. I mean, he's getting paid the big bucks and he's captain, but he's a great player for what it is, but he is not to the likes of like Kevin De Bruyne, who's considered one of the greatest midfielders in the Premier League. And to be captain of a team like Manchester United and to just not show up in big moments, to some of your highlights being complaining and whining, like it's definitely a bad look. And yeah, I mean, I think like I just said, in big moments, in big games, he's just never there. He's a ghost. um so yeah, and you're right, he is captain to one of the worst Manchester United teams. It's not to say that he's a better player, because he's not, but yeah, he's definitely overrated to me. So yeah, we got one more player. We got Fede Valverde.
El
Is he
Halcón.
underrated, overrated, or properly rated?
Properly
I
rated. Oh, sorry.
Mhm, mhm.
Properly rated. He's a star, and he's yeah, no, properly rated because I don't think you would consider him underrated, and I don't think you would consider him overrated yet. But yeah, he's es cumplido, and he's strong. I don't know if that play on Dijon ball, like going straight at the ball, that was crazy. So properly rated.
I kind of disagree with you a little bit there. I do think that he's actually underrated. I think to me he's my favorite player right now in Real Madrid, and I never hear him in talks of like best center mids. It's always like fucking Declan Rice. It's Rodri. It's Bernardo Silva and all this stuff. But like this man right here, and such an underrated. And again, I don't know if it's just because he's from South America, but like to me, it just feels like no one really gives this man props for what he's done so far. I think like especially this last tie, I feel like he's such like a workhorse, and he's just so like in it. Like I don't know how else to explain it, but I can just tell that like being at Real Madrid just means like the world to him. I don't know if y'all saw that clip of him and Brahim Diaz, but he was like, you know, like dude, fuck, pass the fucking ball. And I just don't think that we see players like this anymore that are this passionate about the badge and about the team, and just to me, one of the most underrated players because I feel like I never hear him in those conversations unless I'm wrong.
Nah, I think you nailed it on the spot. I think you literally said what I was gonna say. Yeah, I agree, and yeah, it's true. I mean, he's a workhorse. He's that midfielder that's gonna run up and down. I mean, he can play wing. He doesn't just play in midfield. Like he can play on the wing. Uh, he can play like a CDM. Like he just has every attribute that you'd want in a midfielder.
They've even played
And
him at winger at some
yeah,
point.
yeah. So and yeah, I mean, yeah, and he's still hella young. So that man got years ahead of him to be
Hmm.
great. So yeah, but I agree. I think he's a little bit underrated. So yeah, that's it for our underrated overrated segment. Thank y'all. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you for that. Moving along, I think to what's our last segment of the episode this week. We have a interesting debate, and I think I did see my my friend Pablo Dibola. I think I was just watching a clip on him yesterday, and they started bringing up this conversation on who would win the Ballon d'Or this this year. And I certainly hope that our debate, or that we are not putting Messi in this conversation. That would be don't, don't give me that. But I mean, the fact that we can't flat out maybe put out a candidate, as we used to, like in previous years, where like we always knew it would be like Ronaldo in the conversation, Messi in the conversation, and somebody else. I think it makes it interesting this season because I feel like it's kind of like up in the air. We may have a clear front runner, but I think the summer tournaments and who wins the league, who can win the Champions League, may just fully ultimately decide who wins it. But at the moment, for you guys, like who do you guys think? One, who do you guys think is going to win it, and who do you think the three would be candidates?
Who I think it's gonna win it is Mbappe. That's who I think is gonna win it. Who probably will deserve it? It's gonna probably be Jude Bellingham. I think we're gonna just see the reincarnation of a Messi esque type of stronghold on the Ballon d'Oro with Mbappe, where they're just gonna find a way to give it to him. I mean, I still think he's the best player, but that doesn't mean that like he's had. I mean, he's having a great season. Don't get me wrong, Mbappe's having a great season with PSG, but I think Jude Bellingham and the effect he's had, I think we can't deny that he has put everybody on the radar on like that this kid is like the real deal. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. To me, I just feel like they're gonna give it to Mbappe, but I think Jude Bellingham's gonna deserve it.
Who
Yeah,
who makes up the third spot? If you had to put one,
Harry Kane probably. He's having a great season too.
yeah, that's a good
Or
shout.
even
That's a good
Rodri. I
shout.
think Rodri. I think the stat was like, Manchester City hasn't really like I think lost when he's on the field, or they
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
won without him. The
yeah.
stat is something
He's
crazy.
never
Like
lost in like 40 games or something like that.
yeah, they haven't lost with him on the field or some shit like that. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean he's a fucking great center mid. I think he's nothing flashy. Looks like a real fucking captain. I like Bruno Fernandes, and looks like he's fucking like yeah, ready to fucking get in someone's face if they need to. But yeah, I think those to me, I think it's between Harry Kane. I think it just depends on what you appreciate really about football. If you appreciate goals, which is what I think the Ballon d'Oro is like really tailored to, then Harry Kane will probably be in there. But who I think deserves it is probably Rodri. I think Rodri is the engine that keeps Man City going, and almost like an unspokenness about it. Like he's kind of like a hero that doesn't really get too much clout, doesn't get too much recognition, but I think we cannot deny that without him in that team, they're a different team. And I think and people may not agree with that, but I think Rodri is a pivotal part to Pep's success this season in the Premier League.
mhm. I agree. I agree. Yeah. I mean, what an end of an era. No more Messi or Ronaldo. Um, in candidates for winning the Ballon d'Oro. But to me, yeah, I think who will. I mean, who deserves like the Ballon d'Oro? Yeah, I think it's Jude Bellingham to me right now, number one candidate to hopefully win it, and that might have some Madrid bias, but I just think you have to look at, and again, I don't know how. I mean, isn't it coaches and journalists who vote for this award? But if I were one of them, I'd look at just the impact he's had on that Madrid team, apart from the goals and the assists. Like, think about it. Like, people counted this Madrid team out to win nothing this year. Like, they don't have like Benzema anymore. Obviously, they have Vinicius, but yeah, they just don't have like a star like they would have like Ronaldo, and Gareth Bale and Benzema, and they have an older Modric now and an older Toni Cruz. So if you look at this team at the beginning of the season, a lot of people counted it out, but Jude Bellingham came in and just kind of took the team under his wing, and him and Vinicius have been just kind of riding the attack, just them two, and they've been playing great. I mean, I think it could come down to who wins the Champions League between Mbappe and Bellingham, and how much they both contribute to their teams in these final
Or,
legs.
or Harry Kane.
or Harry Kane, yeah, or Harry Kane. Um, but yeah, if you look at Bellingham's impact, I mean, I think it's great. And as a Madrid fan, you just appreciate it. And I mean, he's only what, like 20 years old, 19 years old, and
20.
uh, yeah, that's crazy to think about. That he's only 20 years old and is already a star of the game, really one of the stars of the game. And mind you, he's doing this as a midfielder. All the goals, all the assists, he's doing this as a midfielder. Although he's not playing the midfield role, he's kind of playing a false nine role. He's doing it. But yeah, and to the Mbappe, I mean, I think for the past what, like 2 3 years, he's been in, or like 2 years, he's kind of been in that run for it. Um, just because I mean, we know like at his best and in form and everything, he's the best player in the world to me. And yeah, he's had an amazing season. And again, it might come down to the Champions League, because I think PSG is gonna win the title, and Real Madrid's gonna win the title. So in their respective leagues, so it might come down to this. But yeah, that's who I think. And number three, I'd say Harry Kane. He's having a great season, scoring a lot of goals as he usually does.
I mean,
We'll
it's
just
pretty
see if
impressive though. 41 games,
yeah,
40 goals. I mean, that's
yeah,
pretty fucking. That's
it's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah. Um, So yeah, we'll see if he can finally get some silverware in his cabinet.
Probably
Um,
not.
It's
but
like Harry.
yeah,
Sorry.
I th- I, th- I think Harry Kane should be number three. I think so.
It's like Harry Kane, underrated, overrated, or proper. No. So let's not go there, man. You're gonna open up a bottle. Don't get me started. Uh, I mean, if I had to ask you as a question, what title has more impact in deciding who deserves it this season, whether it be the Champions League or the Euros? Like, which one's gonna have the more weight when it comes to
I didn't think of that.
deciding on
I didn't think of that.
like who deserves it, not who might win it. Or like it might just like for me, like it may just be a consolation prize to Mbappe this year because some people thought that he should have won it last year and he didn't. So it could be that it's just a consolation prize this year that they're going to give Mbappe and then move
Thought it was
along.
Haaland last year.
The Ballon d'Oro? No, it was Messi.
No,
No,
but
but
Haaland
but
was
it
a
was
runner-up.
between Haaland and
It was
Messi.
between Haaland and Messi, and Mbappe was number three. But
But I
Oh,
mean, yeah, you could still argue that. He could
yeah, I mean,
still
yeah,
fucking been
but it
in
was
there. I
it was
mean,
mostly Haaland and Messi.
and the I think the one that the magazine that runs the Ballon d'Oro is France Football. So it could be just one last attempt to try to lure him to stay at PSG.
It was the year he won the World Cup, Mbappe, that he was supposed to win
Oh,
it. People thought he
well,
was
so yeah,
supposed to
look,
so
win it.
dude. To answer your question, if we were to stay consistent, we gave Messi the Ballon d'Oro because of the World Cup. Then I would argue then that the Euros would overtake the Champions League.
Yeah, yeah.
So that to me is what would that's what would be the big kind of so it would be interesting to see if Bellingham loses the Champions League but he wins the Euros or vice versa, what would happen, you know what I'm saying? Because if
Hmm.
Mbappe wins, he's more than likely gonna lose the Champions League but wins it with France. I think that's gonna be able to
That's a
push him
bigger, yeah.
that's gonna push him to get it. So, but if I take my conspiracy hat off, I think the Euros is the bigger accomplishment.
then I feel like if it for some reason were to come home, like it finally comes home and England wins it, then I think it just means Bellingham should be on the front run to take the award.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Hmm.
but then the other, I mean, I guess the final or the third narrative would be like, what if neither one of them wins the Champions League, neither one wins
Well, then
the
Harry Kane
Euros.
wins it.
Yeah. Well, no, but it's like so they both got two domestic titles, which at this point I don't think they mean as much.
Yeah.
And Harry Kane may not. I mean, he just has 40, probably end up with like 45 goals. No silverware, but I think
Maybe
yeah, I feel
50
like
at the
maybe I
pace he's
could.
going at.
But yeah, I think Bellingham. I mean, which will also be interesting if Mbappe does end up leaving PSG and joins Madrid, because
Yeah.
now like you can say that you have the first and second best player in the world playing for the same team.
That's gonna be
So,
nuts.
so
Then
the
then
expectation,
talk to me about Rodrigo, dude.
yeah, the expectations are going to be running high if that were to happen. But I do agree that those two are in the front run. Um, Harry is there. I might just go and say that if they want to go on a curveball, they could just give Rodri the flowers he deserves, so that more people can start to appreciate that defensive midfield position that I feel like we doesn't get enough love, but that's the backbone to every successful team.
Yeah,
Thought you
I
were
think
about
the
to
only
say
way that that
something
would
else.
happen is if Spain wins the Euros. Again, I think it goes back to the Euros. If Spain were to win the Euros, then I think Rodri is in a conversation there to be winning it. Um, I just don't
No,
think the Premier League title is going to be enough.
that's true too. I mean, I guess is there any player in the Copa America do you think could maybe like crawl in and be like a third option? Because I feel like we were just arguing what was a bigger tournament, Copa America or
I mean, I would
Euros.
say Vinicius. I'm looking at this power ranking. I mean, I think Vinicius is the highest rated. The highest rated CONMEBOL
Yeah,
player on here, and then there's there's El Toro too. Toro's had a good season as well, but
yeah.
Hmm.
um, yeah. So those are the two. Those are the 6 and 7. Vinicius and Toro are they're in there. I mean, you could. I mean, if he was if Vinicius was to win the Champions League and the Copa America, then I think
Let's
he.
talk about it.
My thing is like I think he has a shot of being in the top three. I don't think
Yeah,
he wins
At
it. I think
best,
that
yeah, at
at
best.
best, I think he has
yeah,
a shot to be in the top three. I just don't think that his impact would be more than Bellingham and Mbappe. If I'm being honest with you, I
this
think that they're
season. Yeah,
just they're just having a bigger impact. When you think about best players in the world, even if Mbappe is not particularly having like he's having a great stat season, but like he's still in that conversation,
yeah.
And now Bellingham has also entered this conversation. No one's thinking about Vinicius, even
Yeah.
if he wins those trophies.
Eh, well, I feel like there you have it, man. Is there any
You
other
have it.
hot takes? Any other
I thought you were
things? I
about to
mean,
say some Debola type take right now, but
Oh,
mira,
is that what
no,
I'm sounding like?
no,
yeah.
mira,
No, no, I was talking to my brother.
no es por decir, pero mira, si el América
There you
gana
go.
la Conca Champions, gana la Liga y queda bicampeón, Diego Valdez, bro, like he should be like in the conversation, top five. Give me
We're gonna
like
tag him
yeah,
so
like
that he knows that you're here.
it's like por qué no pensar? Uh, but nah, there you have it. I feel like there are clear cut names, and it might be names that we continue to see for the years to come. So,
Mhm.
um, besides that, I mean, is there anything else you guys want to add? Um,
No,
Continue to
Just
follow
let us
us.
know. Let us know what you think. Um, in
Let
the
us know
comment
what you
section,
think.
uh, anywhere on Instagram, TikTok. Let us know what you
Um,
think.
yeah.
I feel like every time we check in now, ever since we started going bi-weekly, like every time we check in, we always have like really good engagements throughout the weeks
Mhm.
leading up to the podcast on our social medias. So we appreciate that. It's definitely, it definitely motivates us to keep going and to continue the conversations, man. To put on the gloves, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put on the gloves and fire back, man. I feel like that's the way to go. So thank you for that, guys. And yeah, continue to engage with
The
us.
Strictly Football Nation is growing
Yeah,
We're
slowly but
back.
slowly but
surely.
We
Thank
got a
you to
name.
like
everybody that has
at,
We got to
subscribed.
copyright that name.
You
at
know,
the
Strictly Football Nation.
at the
Strictly
start
Football
of
Nation. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to our social media, please do so. And if you have, please share it with a friend. We appreciate you listening, and every week that that we come in here, we try to give our best takes and our best thoughts. And thank you for those that have even joined us live and have stayed throughout this whole time. Because yeah, thank you for your listening.
I agree. I agree. And I think, it goes without saying, but I think we appreciate the conversations that are happening, whether we disagree, agree. I think at the end of the day, just being able to talk about football on some type of platform, maybe it's not the biggest platform, but just being able to talk about football, not just us, but the people commenting and the people, interacting with us, like it just shows like how great this sport is and how much we love the sport. And it's great about all the opinions and stuff, whether we disagree or not. Like, yeah, it's just great hearing other people's takes and just,
Yeah. All right. Well,
so yeah,
thank
so
you.
go follow us. Go follow us at Strictly Football 21 Instagram and
Engage,
TikTok.
Yeah.
engage with us.
Engage. We'll
Thank
have
you.
an announcement sometime soon.
Yeah. Thank
We
you.
we hit
Thank
a
you.
we hit a big 250 followers on Instagram. So thank you guys for that. Share that
Yeah.
with a
We're gonna
friend.
have to do that giveaway soon, man.
Yeah.
This time for real.
This time for real.
This time
It's
for real.
time for real, everybody.
This time for real, but we're gonna give away the shirts from the season where we actually posted the giveaway, so that so that the shirt can be in discount
That's right.
That's right.
of a player
Well,
that no longer plays there.
that's right. Well, thank you. Thank you for listening, and tune in for the next episode.